In our second lesson on radicals, what we're going to go over today is how to add or subtract radicals. Now, if you take a look at the two do now questions, we have 2x plus 3x, and then we have 3x plus 2y. And as you remember from the concept of combining like terms, we can combine 2x and 3x to get 5x, but we can't combine 3x and 2y to simplify it any further. Why does this work? Well, it works because of the concept of the distributive property in factoring. 2x and 3x both have an x in common, which I can factor out, which leaves me with 2 plus 3. So if I can factor out that x, and now I have just two integers, I can combine them. It's going to be the exact same concept for radicals. So what are our steps? If necessary, simplify the radicals. Treat radicals as you would variables. Combine like radicals only, and then, if still necessary, simplify. So I have radical 2 plus 3 radical 2. They are like radicals because they both have radical 2. This is an imaginary 1 there, so this combines to 4 radical 2. Negative 3 minus radical 5 minus 4 radical 5 will give me negative 7 radical 5. Okay? Now, we just did those so that you can see that what you're doing is combining the coefficients and leaving the radical the same. All right? Again, it's a concept of the distributive property in factoring. Now I have a situation where I don't have like radicals, but as we learned in the prior lesson, we can simplify to get 5 radical 3. Okay? Usually there's a clue on how to simplify because you look at one of the two. If one of the two cannot be simplified, then that's usually what's going to be left over. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to put them together. Okay. Here I have 3, so I can combine them to 8 radical 7. Here I have 3, 9 times 5, 4, 16 times 5, 2, 25 times 5. I have 9 radical 5 plus 16 radical 5. Remember, I take out a 4, multiply that by 4, minus 10 radical 5. When I combine these, I get 15 radical 5. Okay. Last couple. 4 radical 3 cannot be simplified. So I got 4 radical 3 plus 25 radical 3 minus 9 radical 3 minus 16 radical 5. And I get 20 radical 3 minus 16 radical 5. I can't simplify any further, can't combine. Okay. Then I have 10, 4 times 3 times x squared times x minus 2, 3x squared and x. So then you get 20 x 3x minus 2x radical 3x. You get 18x radical 3x. Okay. And finally, 3, 4 times 5 minus radical 5 plus 1/2, 16 times 5. So you get 6 radical 5 minus radical 5 plus 2 radical 5. And all of that gives you a 7 radical 5. So again, when adding or subtracting radicals, they have to be the same radicand underneath the radical sign. You combine the coefficients on the outside, and then you carry over the radical. Okay. And make sure everything is in simplest form when you are done.